Michael Bisping, lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us for a little chat here on Sky Sports. How are we doing?
I'm doing very well. Obviously, these days I live out in the States, but I flew out for the UFC event last Sunday. Been here ever since, working, doing a lot of things, trying to get the UFC gym business off the ground. And yeah, I'm good. Very, very well, thank you.
We're 48 hours on from UFC London.
Yeah.
The dust has settled somewhat. How impressive did you find that performance from Tom Aspinall?
Tom Aspinall was utterly fantastic. That's one of the best performances I've ever seen from a heavyweight. Marcin Tybura, the guy that he beat, he's no walk in the park. He's won 7 of his last 8 against world-class opposition. And Tom just blew through him like he was nothing. And I do 100% believe he will be the champion. In fact, I know he will be the champion. Barring any freak injury or something terrible or bad luck happens, he will be the champion of the world. Jon Jones is the heavyweight champion. He's an incredible fighter. He's incredible. He's one of the greatest of all time. I don't think he can hold a candle to Tom. I think Tom will do the same thing to Jon Jones as what he did to Marcin Tybura. I don't think there's anyone that can stop Tom Aspinall. He's that good. He's that switched on, and he's just a great guy as well.
Has he taken enough steps to be ready to fight someone like Jon? I mean, it was another first round win. We've never seen him do the 5-round distance. And let's be honest, Mike, we've never seen him in with someone anywhere near as good as Jon. But are you sitting here right now, are you confident that he's taken the necessary steps to beat a champion like Jon?
Yeah, well, they're all valid points which you make. We haven't seen him tested. And often you want to see that from a fighter because, if you're going to be a hammer and a nail, you've got to be able to dish it out, but you've got to be able to take it and then, mentally reset at the end of a round and go out strong and confident. So we haven't seen if he has that ability, right? But let's just assume that he has, because I speak to his dad, I speak to all his training partners. His training partners are absolutely gigantic, by the way, and apparently they give it to him in training. So he's not in the position where he's at if he was the type of guy that would quit on himself. But you're right. Listen, who did he beat? Sergey Spivak was one of his victories. He's fighting Cyril Gane. They're highly ranked. He's beaten a lot of ranked guys. He's beaten former champions. Of course, the top 2 guys are Stipe Miocic and Jon Jones, okay? And they will be a step up. Of course they will. They're both fighting in Madison Square Garden in New York in November. I think he should fight the winner of that, or maybe a Sergey Pavlovich.
That's the name that we didn't hear much of on Saturday night, was it? That's the guy people seem to want to be avoiding. I wonder what he would have made of everything that was being said and everything that he was seeing. Everyone's calling out this guy, and he sat there, number 1 contender spot. Just what about me?
Everything I said about Tom Aspinall kind of applies to Sergey Pavlovich. He's incredible, and the punching power is ridiculous. I think he has Tom beaten there. I think Tom would probably admit, but it's not just about punching power. But I think he's on a 6-fight win streak, all knockouts in the first round, and he only needs to land 1. It's insane the power that he has. But Tom is so versatile. He's a very good wrestler. He was teaching grown men jiu-jitsu when he was 16 years old. He's an incredible striker. I mean, he was moving like Muhammad Ali at the weekend. It was incredible. But yeah, maybe Tom versus Sergey Pavlovich, number 1 contender.
And presumably you think if Tom's beating Jon Jones, he's beating Pavlovich as well, right?
Well, I think so. I mean, the only loss that Pavlovich has had in the UFC was to Alistair Overeem. Alistair Overeem caught a leg kick, sat him down, kind of forced him off balance and put him down on his backside, and then from there did what we call the old ground and pound and finished him on the floor. With total respect to Alistair Overeem, if Alistair can do that, Tom Aspinall definitely can. And maybe I'm biased. Maybe he's my mate. Maybe, I'm just supporting the English. Call it what you will. But I don't think I'm looking through rose-coloured spectacles. I truly believe in everything what I'm saying, and I stand by it.
You clearly love this sport. You love the entertainment it brings. You love what the athletes do. How incredible would it be for you, someone who has a deep appreciation for the sport, to see Cyril Gane and Tom Aspinall have a fight with the way those two big boys move around, right?
Oh, well, see, and that's what's so great about them. Cyril Gane and Tom, they kind of are the new breed of heavyweight. When you look at heavyweight fighters, some people might be, maybe a little soft around the midsection, big guys, strong guys, tough guys, great athletes, but sometimes they can be kind of sluggers. These guys are technicians. These guys are skilled. They are athletes, A-star athletes. They could have done any sport they wanted. Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall would be incredible, but I just said Tom can wrestle. Tom's got jiu-jitsu. And look at what Jon Jones did to Cyril. And I love Cyril, by the way. He's a good friend of mine. I worked with him on a movie earlier this year. So, you know, I'm not talking bad about the guy. I'm a big fan, but styles make fights. And I think Tom, with the grappling, would have a pretty easy day.
Do you think Tom brings enough to the table to keep Jon Jones interested? Because Jon calls the shots, right?
Yep. So this is the thing. Jon doesn't need to fight Tom Aspinall. Jon doesn't need to fight anybody. He's been there, done it, got the t-shirt, he defended the belt at light heavyweight a ridiculous amount of times, and he went through multiple generations of champions. But he's moved up to heavyweight. He won the belt. Now he's going to fight Stipe Miocic. They say he's the greatest heavyweight of all time because he defended the belt the most. That's great. So he becomes the champ, beats the greatest of all time in terms of heavyweights. What do you do next before? Because he's talking about retiring soon, because he doesn't need to prove anything. But if he walks away, there will always be talk, oh, he didn't want to fight Tom. You should fight the top prospect. Win the belt, beat the GOAT, and then take on the top prospect, and then what else is there to do? And if he could pull that off, Jon Jones, without question, will be the greatest of all time. You know, I think I'm stating my case pretty strongly here. Jon, come on, let's go, buddy.
Look, it was a mixed night for the Brits, wasn't it, on Saturday? Tom came out to the octagon moments after Molly McCann was stopped again in the first round. Mike, how disappointing was you being in that performance?
Yeah, listen, Molly fights, you know, she wears her heart on her sleeve, and that's the way she fights as well. And she brings such entertainment, she really does. From the moment she walks out, the crowd are all behind her. She's an emotional fighter, and I think people buy into that, you know. But you've got to have the well-rounded skills. You know, you've got to be able to compete on the ground. And she's a fantastic boxer. She's a ferocious striker, and we love everything about her. But, you know, maybe there's a little work to do there. Last time she lost against Erin Blanchfield, she was very depressed. She talked about that. She almost couldn't face people coming off a loss and being finished the way that she did. Yeah, she went and spiraled into kind of a bit of depression, if you will. But the reality is, I lost many fights along the way, you know, and as Rocky would say there about how many times you get, what is it? Where is it? It's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and still keep coming forward. Thank you, Emma, PR lady over there. No, but I'm having a laugh there, but it kind of is, you know, and people respect that. You know, so she, far from over, do some work, focus on some more jiu-jitsu, because these are all things that can be learned. We know she has the intangibles. She can fight. She's got heart. She's got will. She's got the work ethic. She's got the discipline. She's got all that stuff. Just needs to learn a bit more jiu-jitsu, you know, so that can be learned. And if she's able to do that and then come back and go on a tremendous winning streak, I think she'll have even more respect from people, because that's what people buy into. And I know that firsthand. I had many, many ups and downs. I lost many fights, and, you know, but you never give up. You got to keep going. As a famous author once said, he was a Sunday Times bestseller, quitters never win. That's my book.
Look, you mentioned there the technical stuff that she needs to look at and clean up. It's the mental side that could be tricky here, because there is a difference between losing to Erin Blanchfield, who is tipped to go all the way, and Julia Stolyarenko, who perhaps would have been looking at a UFC exit if she lost on Saturday night. So I guess what would your advice be to Molly while she tries to come to terms with what's happened and if she's going to move forward?
And that's a fair point what you make. You know, Julia, you know, she wasn't setting the world on fire, shall we say. But everyone in the UFC, they're all very capable. And I think we saw the best Julia Saturday night. So certainly she can take solace in that. However, it just goes back to what I said. You've got work to do. You know, you have the courage, you have the ability, you got the fighter's spirit. You got a lot of things that other people can't handle. She can handle the big moments, you know, but the jiu-jitsu is letting her down. She needs to focus on that 100%. She doesn't need to bother about the hands. She's got beautiful striking. She's got great boxing. She's super aggressive. She's a good athlete. She used to play football. You know, you name it, she can do all those things. Her jiu-jitsu needs work, right? So just focus on that and take a little time. You know, take a little time. Leave it a year. You know, go down to Brazil, go wherever, travel the world, go to some places, soak in as many different styles of martial arts and grappling and wrestling and jiu-jitsu as you can, right? Take a little time off, she's still very young, you know, and come back 6-9 months as a far more improved fighter.
I wonder if she can learn some lessons from what we've seen from Paul Craig, someone who had a setback and he's clearly made some pretty radical changes. And, paid off, didn't they, on Saturday
night? Listen, Paul Craig, what a guy. You know, his style it's risky. You know, he loves to pull guard, talking of jiu-jitsu with Molly. You know, he loves to go to his back. He believes in his jiu-jitsu ability. He likes to go to his back, but when you're on your back, you can get punched. And that's cost him a few times. He dropped down to middleweight. Andre Muniz, the guy that he fought on Saturday night. I was very concerned for Paul. Obviously, may the best man win, always, you know. So I have no horse in the race, so to speak. But I had my concerns for Paul. I'm like, I don't know if this is the wise move. Number one, you're a gigantic light heavyweight. You're going to come down to 185 pounds, and you're going up against somebody who stylistically could be a nightmare matchup for you. But he got it done. He proved everyone wrong once again. He went out there, he got top position and finished him with some succession of elbows. I thought it was a tremendous performance. It was a great win. And Paul Craig, he's some man. You cannot ever doubt that guy.
He's clearly someone you really enjoy speaking to and spending time with. Just while I'm thinking about it, just wondering, what's your favourite moment for you since you've been doing the post-fight interviews, going into the cage and having a chat with someone?
That's what I love. I love those moments. I mean, the best. I mean, I love commentating the fights. I love being able to share my knowledge and tell the fighters' journeys and things like that. But going into the octagon and certainly, and I hope no Americans see this, but when you do it in the UK, I so much more prefer that because we've got the banter, we've got the same sense of humour, and you can have a little bit of a laugh. And it's not about having a laugh, you know what I mean? But we can have those moments where there's a bit of humour and, you know, or maybe some deep moments, you know. I mean, there's so many to name. I mean, I remember when Paddy, you know, he got caught by Luigi Vendramini, and he said, I can't remember what he said. I said, I'll tell you what happened. You almost got knocked out. And he's like, Scousers don't get knocked out, lad. You know, so you have all these viral moments. I love it. I do. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Just back to Paul Craig briefly. What can he do at 185? Do you think?
I mean, we'll see, right? I mean, obviously, he made 185. He got a great win over a good opponent. I mean, Andre Muniz has beat some really, really good guys. So that sets the stall quite high. But we'll see. We'll see because I think, and Paul's a mate of mine, and we're doing a show together later this year in Manchester and with Tom Aspinall as well, so keep an eye out for that one. Bisping and Friends coming soon, like a stage show. So I hope this doesn't upset him, but he does still kind of rely on the jiu-jitsu side of things. He's still, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but he's kind of one-dimensional. But his strike is getting better all the time. Against somebody like the champion, Israel Adesanya, could he get him down to the ground? If he could easily finish him there. If you can finish Andre Muniz on the ground, you can pretty much finish anyone in the middleweight division. But it's getting them there first. Yeah.
Bo Nickal was the name that flew out of his mouth in the...
oh, did he really? He said, I never saw that.
He said, I'd fancy to go with Bo Nickal because he's going to want to take me down and I want him to take me down.
That's interesting.
I mean, what do you think about that? Could that be on the horizon? Could that be a fight that happens? For those who don't know, I mean, Bo Nickal is absolutely setting the world on fire over there.
Yeah. For people in the UK that don't know, he's one of the best wrestlers of his generation. Obviously, in the States, my son's a college wrestler. You know, through high school and college, they have massive wrestling programs, and the skill and the technique is unbelievable. And the level that he's wrestled at and the accolades that he has are incredible. He's come to the UFC. Bo Nickal, I'm talking about. I think he's 5-0 now, opened 2 pay-per-views in a row. Very inexperienced, but the skills he has are unbelievable. Him versus Paul Craig, I think that's actually brilliant.
I like it.
Because I was talking to Bo Nickal on my YouTube channel recently, and I said, I think you're going to struggle to find matchups because younger fighters, entry-level UFC fighters, they're not going to want to fight you, no way, right? And then ranked guys, they're not going to want to fight you because the wrestling he has is a nightmare. Yeah. Whereas Paul Craig has a bit of a name, he's known, it's a good step up for Bo Nickal, and it's an interesting fight. I like that.
You're in, aren't you?
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Paul could get him. Paul could wrap those long Scottish legs around him and triangle choke him. It'd be hilarious.
Tell us a little bit about the UFC gym business then, because we're here in Woking. Yep. I understand we're going to see a few more of these popping up as well. Yeah,
that's right. So I opened the UFC gym in Costa Mesa, California, close to where I live. And I'm very passionate about the brand. I mean, martial arts for me has done so many positive things. And I think for children I think for anyone of all ages, really, there's something to be learned. But UFC gyms aren't necessarily just about martial arts. They're state-of-the-art fitness gyms with a martial arts and UFC branding. So if you want to do circuit training, yoga, spinning classes, you know, personal training, weightlifting, jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, they do it all under one roof. And yeah, anyone from any age, all, you know, shapes and sizes, all welcome. So I think when some people see UFC gym, they might get a little intimidated and think, well, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be doing that. But it's nothing like that at all. It's all about the experience, the community, and yeah, they're pretty good.
Michael Bisping, thank you so much for spending a bit of time. Thanks for having us down here. And yeah, man, let's catch up soon. Great.
My pleasure. Anytime. Thank you.